Hello all, welcome back to another video and welcome to Sammy G's World of Cinema. So guys, I thought today on the channel I would do something I've been wanting to do for a canny while now, and that is talking about 10 underrated films that I would consider to be underrated. Some of these are a bit more well known than others, but I feel some of these films, all of these films should I say, kind of definitely deserve like more recognition in my opinion. And there are some of these that are a bit like I would say independent. There's a couple of independent films here, but I think a lot of these films like kind of were commercial but just didn't do as well, like kind of either box office or just didn't get all that critical acclaim and stuff, and they weren't as kind of like, you know, like as kind of like they kind of deserve like kind of more like kind of recognition. So guys, that's what this film is going to be about. We're doing a spotlight video on 10 movies that I would consider to be very underrated, and yeah, I wanted to include a couple of like different films to one another from like a couple of different genres. So yeah guys, grab yourself a cuppa and let's get on with the show, shall we? Let's talk some movies. So the first film I chose was an animated film, and one I would consider to be very underrated in my opinion. It is from a Blue Sky Productions, I believe. So the same company that did like the Ice Age films and so forth, and I think Rio, I want to say, is another film from like that studio as well. And this is a film that holds such a special place in my heart. This was one of those movies that I just remember when I was like 7 years old. My mum took me to, I think, Headton Bridge Picture House to go and see this one, like all them years ago, 20 years ago. And yeah, I just remember I had such a great experience watching this when I was like a youngster. And it was upon its release, this film was, I'm going to just say it, I still absolutely love this film still to this day. I would say it's quite disappointing we don't have a Blu-ray release of this over here in the UK. But nonetheless, yeah, absolutely love this film, guys. I think it's just so great. And that is the film Robots. So Robots, I just have such a soft spot for this film. Yeah, I just think from the voice cast with Greg Kinnear, Jim Broadbent, and you've, of course, Ewan McGregor and Robin Williams, the two main leads here. And yeah, it's... yeah, I absolutely adore this film, guys. I love the way the film opens with like kind of, you know, like this town and stuff, and you know, like it focuses on like these like residents, and then you focus on the dad at the start that he's found out this exciting news. It's just such a beautiful animated movie. It really is. And we focus on, you know, this couple that are, they've just, they've just had their child, and their child is Rodney, and you focus on Rodney that's, growing up, and then when he eventually is like, he's like a teenager and then into young adulthood, he then wants to venture out and like, because he's kind of has his own like inventions and big bold ideas. His hero is Big Weld, I think voiced by Albert Brooks, I want to say, and he wants to kind of like show him what he's got, basically, just shine through in life and show what he's capable of. And yeah, and he just goes for it. He follows his dreams, and you are rooting for him as well. This is just such a beautiful film. There's a lot of great comical moments to this one when he's trying to get into, you know, this big corporation, and then this like, I think it's Tim, like the security guard, that's just having absolute jack all about it. And yeah, and also I think the red robot, I think his name is it Fender, I think it is, voiced by Robin Williams. Yeah, I love Rodney and like his friendship with Fender in this one, and when they just go on that like wild roller coaster, I think it is. Oh man, it is brilliant. And the comical scene when they have like this fart competition and stuff. Oh man, it is great. It is such a great time, this film. And yeah, Rodney is just a wonderful leading protagonist in this, and you know, he's just a source of inspiration, and yeah, and also a great villain to this one as well. I'm trying to remember the villain's name now, voiced by Greg Kinnear. But yeah, he is a great antagonist to this one as well. And yeah, just a great like rival to the story as well. So yeah, that is my first pick there, Robots. And yeah, lovely little film, this one, guys, and I love the score. I love the father and son relationship to this movie as well. So that is Robots, would be my first pick. And great like kind of animated setting with Robot City as well. So yeah, guys, and then the next film I have gone for is definitely a complete different contrast to that one, and that is, it's kind of like a based off a true story, an autobiography, biopic, this one, of Erin Gruwell, I think it is, played by Hilary Swank in this movie, and that is the film Freedom Writers. Now, yeah, I did study about this film. I've watched this film like a handful of times, not in a while though, but I do think this film is so underrated, guys. I think it is a fantastic movie, this one, about like a newcomer, like a new teacher, played by Hilary Swank, called Erin Gruwell, and yeah, based on like kind of her like days of teaching, you know, like her early stages of teaching and that. And yeah, she basically decides to take on this new challenge and to like you know, like teach at this high school. And there is, you know, a little bit of a heated reputation within like this classroom, and you know, like this group of students from like different generations, different backgrounds, and they don't really, a lot of which don't really see eye to eye. And yeah, like there's a few of the students that kind of have come from quite sort of like, you know, like there's from like a quite sort of you know, like a bit of a rough part of LA, and where there's like street violence that's gone on, gang violence. And yeah, it's quite a powerful movie, this one, and there are some quite dark moments in there. But yeah, like the students don't quite see eye to eye with Erin Gruwell at first. Like they think kind of like they don't really take to her style at teaching at first, and they kind of just really just kind of just fall on with kind of, you know, like having, you know, disagreements, and with like that there was fellow students in their class, and they're kind of just, you know, they're coming out and with some very rash things to one another, and Erin is just, she's doing all the best she can to sort of kind of like you know, like keep like things kind of smooth sailing here, but it takes a while for kind of students to see, like kind of, you know, like kind of like look up to her as a teacher in this film. And yeah, on top of this, yeah, like, so this is like based in LA. This is set in LA in 1994, and this takes place about 2 years after these riots as well. And yeah, and there's a couple of, there's a couple of students as well that's kind of like seen, like, you know, things that have have happened on the streets, and it's quite shocking to watch as well, and you know, like kind of like with the street gang violence and that, and Erin kind of takes on like a new tactic as well for them to kind of like they hands out like each kind of like a diary book, and just for them to like kind of like, she wants to learn about their like kind of experience and kind of like what's on their mind, what are they struggling with, and kind of just for them to kind of work to kind of express how things have, what they've been dealing with, and just to kind of like and then just for her to like learn about their experiences, to talk things out, and to kind of like communicate, for these students to communicate to one another. Yeah, this is a really powerful, great movie. Hilary Swank is excellent in the leading role here. I do like kind of like, there's a bit of a nod here and there to like hip hop as well, and I really enjoyed that one. Like, she kind of wants to try like new tactics in order for the students to get on with one another, and you know, like for things to be like less heated and less tensional, and let's see if we can all work this out together and stuff. And this is a fantastic film, guys. Also kind of, she also wants for them to have like the best education possible, and she again goes with her tactics in order to kind of like for like her students to be interested in like subject to subject and that, and yeah, it's a fantastic film, and yeah, and I like kind of how again she does all her can. She goes by like her own like ways of kind of how she wants to deal with this in a kind of a tight-knitted fashion, and how she wants to approach this as well, and yeah, I think it's great. So that is kind of like a biopic and based on a true story there. That is Freedom Writers. Admittedly, I have talked about before on the channel, but again, guys, I just don't hear anyone talk about this film before. Like, I did actually have the absolute privilege of recommending this to my very good friend Ollie. Ollie reported back that he loved this film, and yeah, this is a fantastic movie, this from Gus Van Sant, and I think this is just so underrated. I, again, for the most part, don't hear anyone talk about this film, and that is the film Finding Forrester with Sean Connery and Rob Brown. And yeah, I just think this is such a beautiful, wholesome movie, this one, about Sean Connery lost like his family, and yeah, like because he grew up in Scotland. He lost like his family, and he moves to New York City to like kind of like start afresh. He writes his one and only book, and his one and only book is very well critically acclaimed. It is just, you know, like the book that he wrote and he published is an absolute bestseller. It is just, you know, like, and it is like a real influential novel as well. It is just basically just kind of, you know, like kept himself to himself for like a period of years, like 20 years or something, that he's just been, or it could have been more than that, like living in his apartment, and, you know, like he wants to kind of like hide his identity as like William Forrester. And one day, out of the blue, Rob Brown, who plays Jamal, he's got a real passion for basketball, and he wants to kind of impress his friends that he's really into basketball, but he's kind of has a bit of a secret, like he has a love for reading, and he has a love for writing as well, and his friends don't really know too much about that. And yeah, and then basically one day he is transitioned to like a new school, like a new academy, and like he kind of leaves behind like his past life, where he was at this school and stuff, and then with his friends, and then he transitions to a new school. I think the main girl in there as well, I believe played, was it Rogue in the X-Men movies? And yeah, like I think she's called Claire in this movie, and yeah, they start to kind of have a bit of a close friendship at the start, and yeah, and also there is this guy in this basketball team that he just doesn't see eye to eye, does Jamal, with this guy. But yeah, Jamal basically one day discovers that like he's been dared to go into this apartment to just lurk around and stuff, and then out of the blue he leaves his bag by mistake there with all of like his paperwork and papers and stuff and his assignments, and in order to go back there, if he dares, he has to go back to like this guy's apartment in order to get his bag back. Then he discovers that that guy who he trespassed his apartment is no other than William Forrester, played by Sean Connery. And then William Forrester becomes a bit of a source of inspiration for him to learn into like kind of, you know, tackling new ways into like writing and stuff. And yeah, and it's just such a gentle movie, this one, guys. I love this. There is a lot of heart and soul to this film. I think William Forrester, you know, is such a he's such a gentle being in this film. Tutorial lessons from like William Forrester. Then you kind of see he's kind of lifted his spirits up there as well. And yeah, I think this is a beautiful movie, guys. I love the opening scene with you know, like where this guy is rapping, and then it just focuses on like these street views and that, and you've got that music playing in the background. It is an utterly excellent way to kickstart the movie. All the basketball scenes are great. The music is excellent. And yeah, like you kind of see Jamal is boosting his confidence up in like writing, and he's at this new school. But then you find he's kind of wanting William Forrester to kind of boost his confidence to kind of go into the outside world after a mega hiatus. So yeah, it's just fantastic, and one that is well worth your time, guys, especially if you love Gus Van Sant's work. I would highly implore you to check this film out there. So that is Finding Forrester. One I don't think has got like the best of like reception out there, and I don't think it is all that critically well received, but I remember watching it. I think my dad might have watched this it was Christmas Day or Boxing Day. He watched it on DVD and he said, "Sam, do you know what? This is actually a pretty decent film here, and you might actually enjoy this one." And then me and my dad, we actually did watch this one together, like in the new year. So this was like 2010 or something like that. And yeah, we sat down and we really enjoyed it. And you know, as soon as the opening scene kicks in with I think it's Massive Attack, I think it is, like their big songs, so that, yeah, one of their big songs that like is in the opening scene. It's got that zany black and white sort of opening montage to it, and that is the film Firewall with Harrison Ford and Paul Bettany. Now, yeah, so Harrison Ford plays someone called Jack. He's a family man. He kind of has his own like security system where he's keeping that kind of, you know, all this money, like he's kept lots away in the security system, a part of this corporation. So basically it's there, and he kind of works as part of like this IT crew with bank, like secure and stuff. Meanwhile, this this heist occurs like during the movie, where there's basically there's like these hackers or this like sort of heist group that comes later into this movie, and basically they invade Jack's family's home and basically take his family hostage because they want this mega sum that is clocking into like millions, and Jack has a real tough decision here that he is in order for his family to survive this, like this absolute mental ransom that is just occurred here. He has to go to the bank to basically to track down the sort of like mega sum of millions of dollars in order to rescue his family there. And yeah, I think this is a decent little film, this, guys. It doesn't get the best ratings on either Letterboxd or IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes, but yeah, I just think this is a decent little action film there. It's kind of edge of the seat. It has dated a little bit now, guys. I will admit, you can tell this has got 2000s plastered on it. But I think at the same time as that, again, Harrison Ford, he plays a decent protagonist, and Paul Bettany plays like a bit of a rival to the story here, and there's a bit of a cat and mouse chase that comes in and out of the movie here, and there's just there's a great family dynamic to this one. And yeah, it's a film that, it doesn't outstay its welcome with the runtime. And yeah, I just remember watching this one like years ago. We're talking over 10 years ago when I watched this for the first time, and just remember really enjoying it. I was really getting into a lot of Harrison Ford's films at that time as well, and I think this did really hit the bill there. So yeah, decent little film, this one, guys, and a great sort of rivalry to this story, but it's quite intense as well. It's like a bit of a home invasion movie, and it's a bit of kind of like a crime thriller there as well, with a little bit of action in there as well. So that is the film Firewall with Harrison Ford and Paul Bettany there. Travel-based movie, and this is starring and directed by Ben Stiller. Now, got pretty good solid reviews, I think, but it just wasn't as well received as well. And that is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I think this is a fantastic little film, this, guys. It is just such a great sort of adventure movie, in my opinion, which again I think does get a little bit of a mixed reception, but I just absolutely love this one. I think Ben Stiller, he's kind of got a lot going on in both his family life, his working life. He's really under pressure as well, and he basically has to he's looking for files and any sort of stills and images in order to kind of match in stuff, and he's also he's trying to find that sort of evidence and stuff, and to kind of obviously kind of report on it and stuff like that. But also he's part of kind of this magazine company that are kind of, they've been taken on by this new recruitment, the guy, I forget his name now, who's from Step Brothers, recently Severance, but he comes at the forefront, and basically that I think it's Life magazine, where they are at the stage now that the company is kind of, it's starting to sort of go down a little bit, going in a little bit of a rabbit hole there, and I think they do want to make it a great final magazine and article to kind of remember it by, and continue, and to sign it off as a great last magazine there, and the topic. And yeah, that's basically that kind of where they're at, but basically the guy who's I think he's called Ted or someone, and oh god, guys, you really detest his character, and the way he's kind of just really sly, he lurks around, and he kind of imitates Walter's character. You really just you think this guy has just been a bit of a narcissistic prick, to be honest. You really just detest his character. And then you find that Walter kind of wants to venture out and learn about this sort of like this archaeologist or this observer, I think called Sean O'Connell or someone, played by Sean Penn. And then he decides to go on like a bewildering adventure to Iceland to kind of learn more about him and stuff. At the same time of this as well, like Walter is also wanting to kind of go on like online dating and, you know, like find his own like you know, like find you know, his own like potentially meet the right one and start like a new relationship. So there is that, and he kind of falls for Kirsten Wiig's character as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on in this movie as well, guys. There's some great like fantasy elements to this one as well, going by the title, of course, of Walter Mitty. And yeah, this has got a great soundtrack to it as well. And yeah, I just think this is such a fun, sweet, harmless, inoffensive little movie, this one. And I love the kind of the second half of the movie where it does sort of like set into Iceland as well. And the scene where he's either on the boat, he's on that bike as well. It's just, yeah, it's a really cool little movie, this one. So that is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty there. Then I went for a film that is a little bit more well-known. However, guys, nowadays, I just don't hear many people talk about this one. And it is just, I just remember, like, Walter Mitty, Robots. I went to the cinema to see this one upon release, and it was definitely one of the surprises of that year, to be honest. I really just had a great time with this one at the cinema. Me and my dad went to go and see this one, and we just turned to one another, like, when the film ended, we said, wow, do you know what, Dad, that was a really surprisingly good film, and that is 10 Cloverfield Lane. So I absolutely love this one, guys. I need this in my Blu-ray collection as well. But yeah, I think a film that also, it's kind of like, it does its own thing in comparison to like the first of the Cloverfield film series. I can't remember how many more Cloverfield films that came after this, but this is hands down, I think, easily the best one here. The first Cloverfield from I think it's Matt Reeves, is kind of more like a found footage style. That's not bad, that's decent, but this does kind of like its own thing, and yeah, it's just such a great, gripping little film, this one, where it's mainly just three characters throughout this film, where this girl that's just this lady who, I can't remember, is it Michelle, her character's name is, and she's basically just come out of a harsh relationship. She's absolutely fed up of that, this guy that is just constantly, you know, like pestering her and trying to win her back over. And then one day out of the blue, she's involved in this sudden car accident, and she's basically taken under care under like this guy who I think was in the army. He's an ex-veteran, played by John Goodman. So John Goodman, like, you think he's kind of this sort of like this sweet guy at first. He's just doing all he can just to help this girl get back on her feet, but then you find there's a different side to his character, and it's like, this guy is just, he's kind of lurking around. He tells her about this his daughter as well. And there's a bit of a different story with that as well, that we find out much later into the movie. Also, you find this guy, I think, is he called Jesse or someone? And he's basically in this shelter base as well, which is led by John Goodman's character there, Howard. yeah, basically it's kind of just takes place mainly in that one location near the entirety of the movie, and it is great, guys. This is a fantastic little film, this one. There's some great tension to this one, and great like sound design as well. There's one scene when they're at the table and Michelle comes out and makes a remark about like this salt and pepper, and oh my god, John Goodman's reaction, it comes out of the blue and it's like, holy shit, I didn't see that from a mile off. It's got so much layers and twists and turns to this movie as well, and then you kind of find that this guy, I think is it Jesse, someone, and Michelle are kind of like wanting to kind of like learn more about Howard's character and like why he's like doing these, he's kind of just lurking around and doing these kind of like suspicious things as well. So it's a great little movie, guys. I think this is just, fantastic. Great tension to this one. I will say it is let down slightly by a weak ending. I think that the ending, is a little left to be desired. I think it could have ended a lot better there. And and you find a little bit about this sort of like this virus that's happened as well, and it's happened in the outside world and that. But it's a great little film, this one, guys. And like I say, all the three characters, the three actors in here are brilliant. And John Goodman, he's incredible in this as well, and a great final act in this movie as well. So that is 10 Cloverfield Lane there. I went for a superhero film now, and I would consider this one to be underrated. This film, I think, has maintained a bit of a cult status like in recent years, and it's one film one of the like films of this film series I just have a mega soft spot for. It does have its flaws, it's not perfect, but it is a ton of fun. And I think this is just cheesy campy fun that I just have a lot of great enjoyment from. And it's just from a film series, a comic book film series that I'm a fan of as well, and that is Batman Forever. I just have such a fantastic time with this film, guys. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a ton of fun. It has got bucket loads of energy to this, obviously with Jim Carrey's portrayal as the Riddler, who is like a scientist, and he's kind of being kind of ignored by Bruce Wayne when he introduces himself, and then he comes up with this new sort of like brainwave invention that's gonna have a bit of an everlasting effect on the citizens of Gotham City. And oh god, guys, I just think that like Jim Carrey, just at the right time, the 90s was just this guy's decade right here. He would be in some other great movies to come as the years went on, of course, but he was just in his absolute prime in the comedy genre, and it was great to see him take on a fun, wacky portrayal of the Riddler here. There's just got bucket loads of energy to him, and there's just some absolute crazy shit that goes on in this movie, where he teams up with, of course, Two-Face, played by Tommy Lee Jones. Now, Two-Face, not everyone gets on with the Two-Face in this, where not everyone gets on with this portrayal of Two-Face here, Harvey Dent, but I actually don't mind this portrayal of Two-Face here. There's just some really fun moments where obviously you have the scene at the start when he's in that helicopter, but then the scene where he's just like, he would either be by the river or him and his like and his army and stuff, and it is absolutely great. And yeah, and this is like kind of set around like the Halloween season as well. Oh man, I just again like there's some corny dialogue, like, oh my god, Alfred, he is just like Alfred, played by what's the guy's name again? What is his name, guys? Alfred, played by Michael Gough. There we go. We got there in the end. Yeah, he just either gives some like you know, drawn out expressions, you know, a bit of a grin, or he just, oh my god, he just doesn't seem half-arsed and go along with it, but he's just he's charmful to watch in this. There's this scene where he would be like, he would kind of radio Batman, and he would just be like, do you want like a sandwich for your journey here? Oh my god. And yeah, we have obviously the side story where Nightwing Robin comes into there, and I've got to say, guys, I'm not the biggest fan of Chris O'Donnell's like version of Robin. And Chris O'Donnell, like his character, he's just a little bit of a sleazeball. He's not a very likable character in this, and again, he has some pretty crap dialogue here and there, but there's one scene where he would go on like this slide. He would basically just swing off this landing, and he'd go through this slide, and then he would just be in the back cave. He's like down there, he looks up, and then Alfred just gives this grin, and he would just be like, all right, mate. Oh my god, guys, yeah, it is just a entertaining movie, this one. And yeah, I do like the Halloween setting as well. Banging soundtrack in this. I do like Val Kilmer, is like portrayal as Bruce Wayne in this movie, and I think he is a very underrated Bruce Wayne. I think he did a pretty good job in this, and yeah, I just think again it really just captures like the nightlife sort of setting of Gotham really well. I think that the score and the theme is overplayed a little bit here and there, but I think it's just all the charm as well, and great chemistry between Two-Face and the Riddler. You know, there's just some great fun wacky moments in this one. Great final act as well, and yeah, like at the circus and learning about his parents and that fatal like an event that happens during the movie. And yeah, really entertaining film, guys. Again, a film that does get its detractors. It's not for everyone, this movie, and I totally understand that, but one that I've got a real soft spot for as well. So that is Batman Forever there. I'm sure James, JT and Jodie will approve. I've put this in quite high regard. Such an underrated film, and just shows what, like, it just shows that there are comedy actors out there that can take on more serious roles as the years go on. And this is just a real prime example of that. And that is the film Reign Over Me with Adam Sandler and Don Cheadle here. And oh my god, guys, I think this is just such a fantastic drama, this one. Learning about Adam Sandler as Charlie Fineman, and who lost his family in this plane crash. Quite a deeply moving movie. It's a very quite upsetting at times, this movie, and you know, it deals with some serious themes in this one, and you really see Charlie's character who loses his family, and he crumbles. He's just a bit of a real a dark so he's going through a real dark avenue in this film, and he reunites with Don Cheadle's character Alan, who's this dentist, and he like he's reunited with Charlie after all them years ago, you know, like when they were at college, and you know, like they've reunited after so many years, and Alan does what he can to like bring him back on his feet, and it kind of like it really just like puts Charlie's life you know, like back to it, kind of like he's struggling, but he kind of is, you know, like I think Alan is making a really great impression again, like just reminding him of the great times they used to have when they were at college together, and yeah, I just think this is a beautiful, wonderful little film, this one. I love the friendship story to this one as well. You've got a really good cast in this one as well, like Donald Pleasance. You've got Ryan from The Office US in this film, and Liv Tyler, Saffron Burrows. You've got John, I think, is it Jonathan? Oh, what's his surname, guys? He was in 48 Hours. He was in he played Mike in Breaking Bad as well. I'll put the name up on the screen there, but yeah, Jonathan Banks, there we go. And yeah, he's like, he's a bit of a grumpy old man in this movie, but you know what? You actually don't mind his character as well. But yeah, there's a couple of like decent comical moments in there where basically Adam Sandler's character, he notices one day Saffron Burrows' character out of the blue, and he's kind of just really in love with her and that, and also the lady who works at like the reception that basically is quite abrupt at times. And oh yeah, I just think there's a couple of like light-hearted moments in there as well, but a film that's got its serious themes, and also it's got a really good soundtrack. I love the scene when they're having like a Mel Brooks like marathon as well. That's like one of my favourite parts of this movie. So yeah, that would get my higher recommendation there, Reign Over Me, with Adam Sandler and Don Cheadle as well. Second to last one now, and I went for a film that came out in 2009. Again, I went to the cinema to see this one when it came out, and yeah, I think it was that time when I was really starting to get into like a lot of sort of like indie movies and drama films that kind of, I think because I was just broadening my film taste at the time and wanted to kind of, you know, like watch a few more dramas here and there. And I was I think it was that year when I was really getting into that genre for the first time. And I went to the cinema to go and see this film, The Boys Are Back. So this is Clive Owen, who stars as this sports journalist or this sports writer, writing about like these articles and that. And this is like set in Australia, where his wife he's kind of, you know, he's kind of, you know, having a really great time, you know, in his life. Obviously, you know, he's, you know, in love with his wife. He's, you know, he loves spending time with his son, and yeah, like, and also like there's and then I think it's Jo, played by Clive Owen, his wife, like her mother, you know, it's like, you know, spends quality time with the family as well. And it's just a really sweet movie. And then when you learn kind of near at the start of the movie, you know, there's one main character that has become like terminally ill, and then this character, and then this character like makes a departure. It has a real you know, like a very, you know, a very like quite it really sets the film for like a bit of a tearjerker, and it's a bit of a real bittersweet film and stuff, and it's quite yeah, very emotional at the start when you see the departure of like this of this character at the start, and then it kind of, yeah, it really just flips the film on its head and stuff, and all these characters are going through so many different emotions, learning, you know, like coping, like dealing with grief and the departure of a loved one, and then yeah, you find that it brings Joe and his son, I think, is it Archie, it brings them like closer together, and you know, like they spend a lot of time together, and then they inform, and then Joe's like other son, like Harry, who is living in London, like with I think it with Joe's ex-wife, like his mother, and yeah, like Joe informs like Harry the news of like the death of like his loved one, and then Harry travels over to Australia to meet like both Joe and Archie, and that was the first time that Harry does meet Archie as well, like he's like younger brother. And yeah, this is a really just a very good family driven drama, this one. Like I say, it's a bit of a tearjerker, and it's very impactful with the departure of the character at the start of the movie, and you learn about how the family is handling that, and you know, they're really just they're really just they're taking their time to, you know, like get back into routine and stuff when this happens. And yeah, I think Clive Owen is an underrated actor. He does such a great job playing as like this main character Joe in this film as well. And yeah, great yeah, there's just some great like family time in this movie between like Joe and his sons in there, and then yeah, like it's and you know, wherever they kind of get up to like these family activities and that, and yeah, I think, and they would go like on holiday together at one point in this movie, and yeah, I think this is, and there is a bit of a love, like there's a bit of a side story of a bit of a love interest midway through this movie as well. And yeah, I think this is a really just sweet little movie, this one, and you know, quite emotional, but it's got a lot of heart and soul to this movie as well. So that is The Boys Are Back with Clive Owen. And the last film to talk about in this video is Danny Boyle's directorial debut film, Before Trainspotting. That I think is the film that really put Danny Boyle's name on the map there, and that is Shallow Grave, the film that kick-started it all for Danny Boyle and his filmography. And yeah, I just think this, me and my friend Simon went to go and see this at Cineworld last year, and God, we had a great time watching this on the big screen. It was Si's first time watching it in like nearly 30 years, and he turned to me and said, "Sam, I forgot how brilliant that movie is." And yeah, it is a fantastic directorial debut film from Danny Boyle, based around three like roommates based in Edinburgh, and I think there's Alex played by Ewan McGregor, there's David, I think played by Christopher Eccleston, and I think there's Alice, who's played by Kerry Fox in this film. And they're three close friends, three of them share a flat, and then one day they do take on a new roommate to rent out a new room, but they find this guy who's got like some secrets. He kind of doesn't want to get into the hands of anyone else but him and you know, like, and his close ones. Then one day, also on top of this, they discover they find this body in the room, and there's this briefcase with this sum of money, and in order to keep this sum of money, they decide to hide this body and hide this evidence. in order to keep this money, and to keep, you know, they're trying to go under a low profile, and they want to, you know, like seal the deal, like have this share of the money between like the 3 roommates. But they find when they spend, you know, a portion of this money, and when they find that the press, because Alex also does work for this news company, by the way, and when they find they start to discover this body, it kind of puts him under a great deal of pressure trying to hide all of that. But also then Christopher Eccleston as David is having all these suspicions, and he's really paranoid with what's happening here. I think he works for like this bank as well, and it is just a really good movie, this one, guys. A couple of tense moments. There's one scene where they're basically at this ceremony, and they meet a guy called, I think, Colin, who basically just out of nowhere, he gives a straight face, and the way he just introduces himself there, and then he basically just wants to kind of cause chaos. It is quite a comical moment there as well. But yeah, and then when they kind of just they kind of are wondering how long they're going to keep this going for and stuff. And it is such a fantastic directorial debut that is pretty gripping. It's got that real sleazy, dark edge to it as well. It's quite well narrated. It's got some like zany shots as well, with like this red colour palette that comes into it as well. So yeah, an absolutely brilliant movie, guys. I would love to see this one get like the 4K treatment down the line as well, and it's one that's hands down deserving of like more recognition as well. So that is the film, and there's a big twist that comes near the end of this film, I will say that as well. So that is the Danny Boyle's directorial debut film, Shallow Grave there. So yeah, guys, those have been a spotlight on 10 underrated films, 10 films that I think are pretty underrated and well deserving of like more recognition as well. Like I say, there is a few more like well-known ones here, but I think there's a couple of films I think are like don't really get talked about enough, and I just think they are just really well worth your time as well. So yeah, guys, do let me know your thoughts on any of these movies I've talked about here today on the channel. And yeah, if you want to share any underrated films as well, and if there's any films that you think are deserving of more recognition, I would love to hear all of that good stuff in the comments down below. And I hope everyone is having a wonderful week as well. So thanks for watching, cheers for stopping by, and until next time, I'll see you for the next video. Bye bye, take care, guys.